Hi, I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to play around with some summer gnomes. And what we're going to do with them is we're going to take a gnome design and we're going to create some stickers and a sticker page. So I have an example for you right here. There's some really cute gnomes on here. I just made a partial sheet, but you can see it goes from side to side without a problem. So all you're going to need is the template from betsmakes.com, a piece of sticker paper, and of course an inkjet printer along with your Cricut. And of course you want to have a cutting blade in your Cricut, but that's all you need. Now you won't be able to do this on the Cricut Joy, but can certainly do it on your Air 2 and your Maker. So let's move over to Design Space and let's start making. Here we are in Design Space, and we're going to be making these cute summer gnomes. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to hide the text that I don't need anymore. I'm going to go to the uploads, and we're going to upload an image, and it's called Summer Gnomes. It will be a PNG file, and you can find it in betsmakes.com/library. So I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to insert that image. And you'll see that we have some really nice little gnomes here that we're going to make some stickers with. Now, first things first, you'll notice that because this is a PNG file, if you look over here at the layers panel, it's a print then cut. It is a single file. And we want to cut all the little pieces out, but I don't want to disturb it right now. Well, actually I will. I'm just going to make this bigger so that we can see it, because we're going to have to take all the different pieces together. All right, first thing we want to do is slice out all the different little gnome pieces that we can add to our sticker set. So I'm just going to leave this in the background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here with a shape, and we have a square, and what we're going to do is unlock it here. You can unlock it here, or you can unlock it here. And once I unlock it, I can change the shape. So I want to just go over top of the gnome that I have here. That looks pretty good. Now I have the one. I'm going to have to do the same for each one of these. So I'm going to use the same square. Let me just lock it up right here. I'm going to come over here above the layers panel, and I'm going to click on duplicate. And we're going to come over here. I'm going to unlock it again. And remember, we just want to hide the gnomes. That looks pretty good. Let's lock it into place. Now I'm going to take this first one again, and I am going to come over here and duplicate it. And that one covers that one nicely, so I can duplicate again, and I can cover this guy, just as long as they're totally covered. That's what we want. Now we have these other gnomes down here, so I'm going to start with this one. So let's duplicate this one. It's a bit bigger, so let's duplicate this. Let's bring it down over the gnome. Looks like this one is kind of in the way, and it is. I'm just going to push it up a bit, and let's see if we can get up to the top. There we go. We're not quite touching. That's perfect. That looks good. These ones, I think I'm going to need a smaller one, so I'm going to duplicate that, and that will fit over that gnome. I can duplicate another one, and that should fit over that gnome. It's a bit wide, so I am going to unlock it. Okay, it should be unlocked. I am going to then just make it a little narrower, maybe a little shorter. Just want to make sure I'm covering the gnome. Okay, let's lock it back in place. Now we haven't done anything in particular with anything else, so I'm going to take the same one. I'm going to duplicate it. But we know we're going to have to make changes, so I'm going to unlock it. Let's shrink it up just a little bit so I can fit over these gnomes. And just go over top like that. I'm going to lock that one in place. Now we have the shoes here. Now I don't have to do the shoes if I get rid of all the other pieces. This should come out by itself. Now when we are going to slice these out, now when you are slicing, slice will only appear when you have picked two pieces. So you can only have 2 objects at a time. So I couldn't pick everything on the screen and slice it out. So we know the gnome is in behind, so all I'm going to do is just go over top like this, and you can tell the gnomes have been selected, but only the one square. Down here at the bottom, you will see that slice is available. So now I'm going to click on slice, and you can see the gnome in the background. So I'm going to pull this one out of the way and hit the delete key. I'm going to take this next piece, move it out of the way, and push the delete key. Whoop, I moved the other ones. I don't want to move the other ones. I want to get to that gnome, which is right here. I just move this out of the way for a minute. This gnome, and then I can move him out of the way here. So now we have the one gnome taken care of. I'm going to have to pull these gnomes and just move them over top, make sure everything fits again. Looks pretty good for most of them. Moving up higher, down. It looks like we kind of missed on this guy, so I'm just going to click on the square behind it. There we go. Maybe I'll get rid of this guy next. So what we want to do is just highlight both of those pieces. Come over here and click on slice. Now this time the gnome comes out by itself, and then we can get rid of these 2 pieces all by themselves. We just have to hit the delete key. So we're going to do the same for this one. Oh, don't want to pull that. Let's get it back down where it belongs. Okay, so now we have the black part we want to get rid of. And it looks like I can't touch the rest of that right now, but that's okay. We'll get to it. Let's take these 2 next. We're going to click on slice. And if I grab that, I think I can grab that gnome out of the way. I can get rid of these 2 pieces right away. No, not quite. Okay. So now I want to come up, and I am going to select these 2. I think I should be able to get it. Yep, I have got it. And it looks like I've got more than one piece, so I have to be very careful here. I want to just select these 2. It looks like we don't quite have it. Okay, let's come up the top. It can be a little finicky at times. Let's click on the slice for this one. Yes, we have that one. We can get rid of these 2 pieces now. Let's pick on the next one. Oops, I pulled on the whole thing. It's not exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, so what I want to do is highlight those 2. I'm going to click on slice. See, that picks the whole thing. Pick this out of the way, get rid of it. Just going to pick the whole thing. Oh, we got it. Sometimes it is tough to find just the one piece that you want. So you can always wait to the end. Oh, as you can see, it just picks up. I think we're in there with that one. Okay, I want to come from this side to pick these 2 pieces. I'm going to slice. Let's see what we get here. Yes, we got this one out of the way, so we can get rid of these 2 extra pieces we don't want. Now, can I click on this guy? Yes, finally I can get that, and I can get rid of this piece. I should be able to get rid of these 2. We can. And I'm going to take this little guy. I'm just going to move him in a little bit, but making sure that the piece above that doesn't touch it. Let's pick on these 2. Let's slice them. Now I have my other gnome. I can get rid of the black square. And you'll see I didn't need to bother slicing the last one, because what happened here is, because it's left over, it's the only piece that we need. Now you see all of these are a print then cut, which is just fine. But what we want to do is make some stickers out of these. And in order to do that, it is very, very simple in Design Space. So I'm going to click on just the one gnome. Actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to change the color of the canvas. You can see the button here where I click on Canvas. If I come up at the top here, you'll see the word Color. I'll click on the color. It's just because I want to have a background so that I can see what's happening with each of these. And I'm just going to come over here on this square as well. I'm going to turn the grid off. So now I'm working in a blank screen at the back, so it's much easier for what I want to do. So I'm going to click on one of the gnomes. We're going to come up here and we're going to take a look at offset. Can you see it right here? I'll try and circle it a little better. Offset, I know my mouse is not that big. So I'm going to click on the offset button and take a look what's happening with the gnome here. You'll see that you've got an outline here. Now you can decide how close that outline is going to go to the gnome. I like leaving a bigger space, but you could make it smaller, and all you have to do is adjust this slider. And you can decide if you want it to have square corners around it. I tend to leave them just at the default, so I'm going to click on Apply. Now it did come in black. Now if you look down here on the Layers panel, I'm going to click on the black here, and that black can be changed up here in Operations. So in the opposite corner, we're going to click on it. We're going to click on white. And then we're going to take the two pieces just like this that is going to be our sticker, and we are going to flatten them. That's all you need to do is flatten it. And when you flatten it, it becomes a print then cut item. You can see it here. It looks black, but it's not. So we have one of these ready to go. Let's take a look at the little feet here. All we're going to do is come up here. We're going to click on Offset and Apply. We're going to find the black component. We're going to change it to white. Okay, we're going to make sure that we've selected both pieces, and we are going to flatten them. And now we have two flattened pieces. All right, we are going to continue this process through for each and every one of these. I haven't tried to do a bunch of them together, but let's just see what happens if we try to do 3 together. If I come up to my offset, it does do them individually. That is really interesting. And it's called weld offsets. So let's apply it. But you'll notice it came out black. Now that can be an issue. We really don't want it to be black. So I have to pick the black, and it's picking them all 3 together. So that is not something we want to do because I can't arrange them on the page that way to make a nice sticker set. So we're going to undo this, and we're going to undo that and undo this. Okay, so we're going to take them one at a time. And we're going to our offset, we're going to apply it, we're going to take the green from the Layers panel, we're going to change it to white, highlight them both, and then we're going to flatten them. We're flattening them because it's going to be a print then cut. So one more, we're going to the offset, we're going to apply it, we're going to take the black piece it created, and we're going to turn it white, and we're going to take the 2 together, and we're going to flatten. And you'll see how this is going to work in a minute or two. Okay, so let's go through this whole process, and we're going to apply it. And we see the black came over here. I'm going to change that to white, and then we're going to highlight the 2, and we are going to flatten. So now we have quite a few of these gnomes all available to us. Some are large, some are small. The ones I had created ahead of time were really, really small. So we can make them bigger, and I will show you exactly how to do that. So let's get the rest of these all offset. And we're going to apply it. Now that's an interesting one. What happened to our offset? You see, that one didn't work properly because that offset is not working. So I'm going to delete that offset. We'll figure that one out in a minute. It's creating an issue. Let's see what happens with this one. Let's go for an offset here. That one seems to be okay. You can see the outline. Let's just apply it. I can see it here. I'm going to change it to white. and I'm going to flatten it. Let's move that one out of the way. I think we have a couple more to go here, and then we'll deal with the one that seems to be a problem. And we're going to go for black, change it to white. Now you have to realize the white won't print. Whoops, that one took it out of the way. I forgot to flatten it. The white will not print on the sticker paper, and that's the whole plan. You want it to cut around your object. Now you can make your objects a lot smaller or change the offset a lot smaller. So let's try it with this one. You can see the outline. So you see that this is 0.25. So let's make it 0.125. And you see how much closer it is. So it's up to you if you want them closer or you want them far apart. I'm going to leave them all the same at 0.25, but you can make your own adjustment. And let's apply this. And once again, I get the black. I'm going to take that black and I'm going to change it to white. Now let's deal with, whoop, once again, I forgot to flatten. Okay, it's easy to forget things, so let's flatten that one as well. Just move it out of the way. Now let's take our little problem child here. Now we want to offset this one as well. And this time you can see that there is a line in between here which is creating a problem. So I'm going to try something and see if 0.35 and then hit the tab key is going to make any difference. And it seems to have settled it. It could be because there's a number of cuts. So let's try 0.3. And that one seems to work. And I'm going to try one more time for the 0.25, see if I can get it to work. And no, it doesn't. So now we know we need 0.3. The biggest key here is the fact that you absolutely need to take a look at the outline long before you hit apply, because that's going to make a big difference. So let's just apply it. See the black here. We're going to change it to white. Now everything looks really good. I'm going to leave the gray on, but I'm going to turn our grid lines back on because I need to be able to arrange these so that we can work on them now. I'm going to select all on the screen. And we had them a lot smaller before, so I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller. I think I will make them about 2.5 inches. So that's not too bad a size. It's just because I want to arrange these in order. So I'm going to make some stickers. So I want to get them as close as possible to the edges here. Now if I'm going to make a sticker deck, I could put an outline around it as well, but I don't want to make a sticker deck. What I want to do is make a lot of stickers. So let's see, those two will fit together. I'm going to make, oh, we didn't flatten this guy. Okay, so let's flatten him. So we can make multiple lines of these different gnomes. So I'm going to just make a couple of 3, maybe 4 of these guys. And I'm going to go right out to the 8.5 inches here. I know that there are restrictions on the page, but there will be a reason why I'm going to go 8.5. And I'm actually going to take 1/2 inch off each side. So I should go to 7.5. And the reason being is that when we go to make a full page of stickers, it will print out to 7.5 inches. So if I make these the original size to 7.5 inches, you'll see I'm quite a bit behind here. So I've got about 3/4 of an inch that's too big. So maybe I take one of these guys out and maybe I can put one of these in. Even he is too big. So maybe I take this little guy. And that looks pretty good for that 7.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on the next row as well. I'm going to get them right to the edge. I'll make, we decided 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pull these guys out and we'll get those put together for stickers. And I try to get them as close as possible because the Cricut will cut them. Now I'm just going to make sure I align these guys, and I'm going to align them to the top. So let's click up here on Align up in the top toolbar. And I'm going to align to the top so that they're all even. I should probably do the same thing here. Align them to the top. Perfect. So that leaves a little bit of room, but not a lot. And I'm just being very aware of how far I can go here. Because the paper is 11, you need an inch. So the tallest I want to go is 10 inches here. So let's see, 10 inches. So that's okay here. Now I know I have some more room here that I can add some different ones. Now I might do this a little bit differently for you. What we want to do is we have this one more guy here. Will he fit there? No, but he might fit here. No, he won't. Okay, so we've got our fourth guy here, and maybe we can fit one of these guys in here to 7.5. Yep, no problem. And I'm going to duplicate this one a couple of times. Probably only get 3 of these guys to fit across. It looks pretty good. I can move him over and him over. And what you can do is arrange these any which way you want. You can make them smaller if you wish. I have a little bit of room here, but not a lot. That looks pretty good for one group. So what I'm going to do is I am going to group these together. Actually, I'm going to attach them. And then I can make another set of the same size. So let's just move this one out of the way. Turn my grid line back on so I can see. Okay, we still have one of these guys that we can have here. We haven't done any of these, so let's just pull them up to the top as much as possible. I think I should be able to get 3 of these guys in there. I only can go to 7.5. You've got to remember that. It doesn't look like I'm going to fit them all in, but maybe I can duplicate this guy. Oh, I deleted him by accident. So let's undo that. There he is. Duplicate. Not delete. Duplicate. Okay, so I can push this guy over a little closer. I'll get him as close as possible. And will he fit within the 7.5? He's pretty darn close. I can just move things just a little bit. Takes a little fiddling around sometimes. Okay, looks good. We've got an extra one of these guys. And now we can start, if we want 4 of these, we can duplicate him again. And I know some of the smaller pieces, we haven't duplicated many of them, but you can play around as to exactly what you want to have on here. So we've got one of these guys. Let's duplicate him a couple of times. Let's make it 4 of him. And we can start placing him around as well. So I don't have too many left here that we want to play with. As long as we don't stick over the 7.5 inch mark, I think we're good. And we want to go as 10. So it looks pretty good here. Maybe I'll bring this one down. You can move them right over. Remember, you're restricting yourself to 7.5 by 10, and you're going, yes, but, you know, the other part of it is the fact that you only have a certain amount of space that you can work with, and Cricut does have its restrictions as to what you can do. And let's take a look at this guy. Maybe I can bring him down here. Yeah, he's okay right there. 7.5. I've got one more of these guys. And now I've got what I have left are the feet. Now let's just make a few of those and see if we can fit them in on some of our places here. So I can fit one in here right down to the 10-inch mark. I'll just move it over a little bit. And I think this one should fit to 7.5, doesn't quite, but I can fit it up to 7.5 here. That looks pretty good. Maybe I'll move this guy out of the way. I just want to get a few of these. Now this guy can come down a little bit. And remember, it's just a lot of placement. You can change where these go at any time. And we'll fit this one in. Now it's probably not looking as tidy as neat as you may want it. I've got next to one of these guys, so I don't know if I can fit him in or not. Might be able to if I bring this guy down a little bit. Got one more piece here. He is pretty big, so I don't think I'm going to find this one, so all I'm going to do is just turn him off here. Now what I want to do is, like I did before, I'm going to move this guy out of the way. I'm going to take this one. I am going to attach it. Now you'll notice that I get the little triangle here, and that means that I have not complied with what Cricut wants to have for these sheets. So while this is still selected, we're going to come up here to the size, and we're going to change the first one to 6.75. I'm going to push the tab key, and now my little rectangle has gone out of the way. If I click on this one, I get it again, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this, and we're going to change it to 6.75. Now, the stickers we have created here are pretty big. You've got to think about it. On an 8.5 by 11 sheet, you're going to get 4 across. If you wanted to, you could attach both of these things together. Just like this, you could slide them in together and then you can double them. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. First of all, I'm going to detach this group. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to detach this group. And what I want to do is take these together and I'm going to attach them, and then I am going to duplicate them, and I'm going to drag this down so that they're all together. Now you notice I do have some spaces, but don't worry about it. Then I'm going to select all. I'm going to detach, and then I'm going to select all again, and I'm going to attach. And now it's giving us the warning once again, so we're going to come up here to the width and change this to 6.75. Now you're wondering, oh, that looks so small, but it's not. What will happen is this will print out on one sheet of paper and it will be almost full width. So let's now save this. So we'll just save this and I'll put it under our June makes, and we'll call it Summer Gnome Stickers. Make sure I spelled everything right. Let's save it. Now, once it's saved, we're going to come over to Make It. And it says project's not supported on your current machine selection. I don't know why. Okay. It looks like we still have a rectangle here. It's image size 6.75 by 9.5. Okay, so it's it's gone up to, let's make sure it is 6.75. I'm going to put 7.5 and see if our little thing goes away, and no, it does not. And it should be 9.5. So let's click on this to 9.25. Okay, so let's just change this one to 9.25. And there it is. So it looks like it's ready to go. Let's just give it one more save to make sure. Now I know it looks small on the screen, but you'll be surprised at what will happen here. just turning on my machine in the background to make sure that we can now come through and make it. So you'll be very familiar with it. It says, wow, that's a big project, but it will go ahead and it will sort them into the mats by color. Now, as you see, this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Now I have a lot of white space here where I could have probably added more gnomes, but I just want to use for example. So what happens when it sends it to the printer, it does a 1/2 inch at the top, a 1/2 inch at the bottom, and a 1/2 inch on either side for the lines. And that is built in. I have not found a way how I can expand that out a little bit, but you get the idea. It's going to print on the full sheet. It really doesn't waste any of your sticker paper. And when we pull these stickers off, they're going to look really good. So let's see what would happen. Let's go to continue. And it wants you to send it to the printer. So we're going to send it to printer. Just take a second. Now I also have an Epson printer, which I'm going to select. This is my inkjet. And I'm going to use the system dialog box. So then I'm going to click on print. And the system dialog box is going to come up before I make a choice of how I'm going to print this. So here's my dialog box. It's coming up with HP. I have to wait for it for a second to bring up the other one. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that I select the right trays. So I'm going to click on Preferences. And I don't want it to go to an auto tray. I want it to go to the rear feed for me because it's not plain paper. It's going to be sticker paper. And quite often you will find that they don't have the right type of paper. So I always go with premium presentation, and it gives it a thicker. We want color. And see what other sides you can have. You can do a print preview. You can show all of your settings. So you could possibly change how this comes out. So I'm going to print mine and then move over to the demo table to see how to put all of this together. So now everything is printed out. The one I had printed out before, I had the line around the edge. I could have put some extra down below, but now I have a full sheet of gnomes. Now I do have another one that it went to print, but it didn't work out too well. So if this happens to you, you're not going to be able to get your Cricut to cut this. What you're going to have to do is cut them out by hand from that point, because only some of the score lines here seem to have worked out. For some reason, my printer setting wasn't quite right. So I'll just put that one to the side. Now, what I've done is I've fed this into my Cricut machine. And what it does is it reads these lines and then picks where our stickers are going to be. And we had put that 1/4 inch edge around the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull off one of our stickers here just to show you the result of what we had done. And as you can see, these stickers turned out beautifully. So I'm going to be able to apply these and put these on various surfaces. So I don't have a lot of surfaces around me right here, but let's pick on this piece of cardstock. And as you can see, I can start making my own planner pages or anything else, and I can be able to use these stickers in any which way I want. So I hope you had a lot of fun making these stickers, and I would like you to apply it to other little designs that you have and make your own stickers this way. So until next time, happy crafting.